everyone. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. It is Monday afternoon. It is 11:10. That's November 10th. That means Marine Corps birthday. And no, I will not embarrass myself by singing the Marine Corps hymn. Or should I? From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. Everyone knows the song. Hum along. All right. Hey, back in 1774, a bunch of drunk guys met at Tun Tavern in Boston, and they decided to start the Marine Corps. Just a couple of days later, this ragtag, pissed off, once a commoner, wanted to be a ship's captain and admiral named John Paul Jones, said, well, hey, dudes, if you want to be Marines, I've got a makeshift Navy. Let's go kick the ever-loving fuck out of a bunch of tyrants. And they went out and literally kicked the ever-loving fuck out of the British Navy, even attacking England in its own waters across the ocean. In any event, it is the Marine Corps birthday, folks, and next year, 2026, the United States will be 250 years old. But right now, the Marine Corps is 250 years old. Happy birthday to the Corps. Let us step out a little bit more now, folks, and talk about tyranny. I'm going to do my monologue, by the way. I'd like your comments, questions, thoughts, predictions, whatever you want to talk about, get it down below. If you want to respond to my topics, respond in the comments. Man is the moderator-in-chief. He may see them and throw them up on the board. If you want to rebut what I have to say, or if you want to agree and add more, or a combination, I couldn't give a shit. What's important to me is having the conversation. And always remember and never forget that other people will read your comments, or they'll listen to the video and hear what your comments are, and they will learn. They will wake up. They will get prepared. Now, with respect to tyrants and what's going on in the world today, it seems like there is too much going on to ignore. It seems like we, the people, have a lot of questions that are going unanswered. It seems to me that we're seeing justice ignored, and it's pissing people off. So let's talk about that. Okay, so when we, the people, when we see crime or fraud or theft or corruption, we expect to see law enforcement out there making arrests, and we expect prosecutors to go out and bring these defendants to trial, right? What we have seen is no action with respect to what we see as high crimes and treason, whether we're talking about the 2020 election, whether we're talking about the January 6th arrests, or maybe we're talking about Biden covering for his son Hunter and the FBI doing nothing about all of the Epstein files. To do nothing is inexcusable, and indeed it's criminal as well. And we, the people, are not happy with it. You know, when we demand action, when we demand it, we see the crimes and nothing happens. We ask questions. We point out the facts, and then we're ignored. That's a problem, the way I see things. As a consequence of this silence, this inaction in the face of all these crimes. Oh, also Charlie Kirk. The evidence doesn't seem to add up. We're not getting our answers. When this happens, we, the people, have no choice but to start looking for ourselves, to discover facts, come to conclusions that make sense with the facts that we've been presented, the lies that we've gotten rid of, and also, folks, the facts that private people are coming up with. This is interesting. It is no longer 1980 or 1960 or 1920. We can go investigate for ourselves. We can travel. We can make phone calls. We can communicate. Yes, the internet, my friends, helps us get to the bottom. Sadly, we are visited with misinformation from other Americans, seemingly good patriots. We get a lot of bad information with the good, and it's hard to find the truth. It's hard, but we're going to do our best and continue to do so, right? As a consequence of silence in the face of these crimes, we, the people, have no choice but to look for ourselves because the government is bullshitting us, right? We come to conclusions that are inaccurate a lot of times. That said, we're deprived of facts because our government refuses to perform as the servant to the people it's supposed to be. And instead, government chooses to propagandize us, lie to us directly in some cases. They obfuscate and hide facts. They offer no solutions nor perform their sworn duties. As a result of this failure to perform, I at least, and probably a lot of other people, see the government and its officials as not working for us, the people, but rather serving themselves, which leads us to our next conclusion to consider. Because these crimes that we're seeing are so self-evident, like election interference, treason by the FBI, acquiescence and allowing murder, corruption, fraud, money laundering, name it. Because these are so self-evident and due to government officials patently and blatantly lying, making themselves look like both fools and criminals themselves, one has to conclude, or at least has the option to conclude, that they are being self-destructive, the government, and somehow keeping their positions of power at the same time. Because some entity, some person, more powerful than them, is keeping them in power as gatekeepers and also benefiting by demonstrating to the world through their actions and inactions that they are protected government officials and also controlled. It is a mess that we're in, folks. So I'm going to continue to ask the questions. I'm going to continue to make accusations. I'm going to continue to dig to the bottom of it. Sometimes it's conspiracy theory. Other times it's conspiracy look at the facts. Other times it's complete fucking conjecture on my part. And some of the time it's going to be humor and satire on my part. In any event, we're going to make it entertaining, right? As the Titanic sank, the band played on. So let's deal with that. Let's listen to the music of what's going on. It may not be music, it may be something else. Anyways, this is important, folks. I want you to be prepared. You need self-defense. Normally I start with food, water, shelter, right? You need self-defense. Let me tell you why. There is a press release from federal authority. After an attempted assassination in Chicago yesterday of federal immigrations and customs enforcement agents, after this attempted assassination, folks, meaning they tried to kill a cop, the Latin Kings have issued a, quote, shoot on sight order. Shoot on sight for ICE agents in Chicago. Now, I don't know if Uman has anything to say about this or if he's heard about it, since he lives relatively close to Chicago, and many of us are not close or relative in any way. But shoot on sight, says the Latin Kings. I guess it's not just the Bloods and the Crips. I guess it's just not the dogs in the South Side. I guess we got everybody in Chicago, including the Latin Kings. I guess the Latin Kings, which indicates that they are preferential to their south of the border DNA. That may be why they're issuing orders for shoot on sight for ICE. Because, well, the brothers down there, the Crips and the Bloods, what do they give a fuck if illegals are taken out? In fact, one might think that the black gangs in Chicago would want the Latins out that are illegal. Well, because that gives them more power and control, does it not? Always about territory. In any event, it's not my fight, not my circus, not my monkeys, but it is my country and I want it fixed. What do you guys think about that? Now, I've got I've always been a philosophy student. So I've learned quite a bit of philosophy and probably forgotten more than I know. I used to enjoy Latin, speaking and learning Latin, and I know I've forgotten more than I know now. And I think it's that way with a lot of things. I've wanted to be, as much as I can, a Renaissance man, understanding everything I can about as many subjects as possible, so I can talk about any subject adequately and sometimes even intelligently, whether it's history or, dare I say, science, whether I talk about the military or geopolitics, education, whatever. I try and educate myself so I don't sound like a bumbling dunderhead or just an out of control moron. So, anyways, I've got a little philosophy, and it's a paraphrased sentence from Voltaire, a very famous French philosopher. And here's the paraphrase, and I think it's something that we can all relate to these days. That those who believe in absurdities can commit atrocities without ever thinking they're doing anything wrong. Does that sound like a big percentage of our country? Once again, to paraphrase Voltaire, those who believe in absurdities can commit atrocities without ever thinking they're doing anything wrong. For example, those who believe that abortion is fine and it's not murder, rather absurd, they can commit other atrocities without ever thinking they're doing anything wrong. Oh, anyways, take that for what it's worth, a little philosophy for this Monday, and then we can continue on. Well, shit, there it is, man. I may have hit a button while I was in the controls. Apparently, we have with our software for running these live programs, the creator of the software has updated some new options. In any event, we are now back on X. We're on the Prepared Mind, and we're on the Prepared Mind, and we're on, we're supposed to be on the preparedmind.club. Well, anyways, let us continue. We are where we're at now, and it looks like, I see green check marks. We're rocking and rolling. We do have and control my Prepared Mind at X. It's got this icon, right? On X. If you see that picture, that means it's me. Unless someone steals that also. Those rotten bastards. Anyways, let's continue if we shall. I want to talk a little bit about stereotypes. I just feel kind of like just talking about shit and just throwing it out there for you guys and to see what you want to discuss. Stereotypes. I think the SHTF stereotypes are something we should discuss, right? Are Americans that prepare, are we being stereotyped as wackos, paranoid, hypersensitive to change? Okay, sure, why not? That's a stereotype that fits because it's true to an extent only. But what about stereotypes of other people, other ethnicities? Haven't they also earned their stereotyping? Whether they're selfish or stupid, liars, thieves. Look around, folks, and think about it. Right? I think humans are naturally tribal in and as much as we feel more comfortable around people who look like ourselves, talk like ourselves, have the attitude that is who we are. Right? Everyone's earned their stereotype, but there's something I like about real Americans. You see, you can be a real American. I'll claim that I am one. And to me, it's not about looks. It's about how you act. You could throw me in a crowd of Hispanics, and if they act like me, I feel completely fucking comfortable. If you do that with a group of blacks, I feel completely comfortable if we act and sound alike, right? We are tribal. It's not necessarily a color thing, folks. In America, those Americans, all of us who have assimilated and become American, you act American. Now, to the opposite, those who don't act like us, whether or not they look like us, they don't act like us. If you took me and threw me on a college campus, not with the students, but with faculty, they might look kind of like me. They'd be white, they'd be old. But would I feel comfortable being there? No. They fit into a different stereotype, don't they? Anti-American stereotype. It's easy to find them. It's easy to identify them. It's easy to see them as a potential threat to American safety. Same with Muslims. I've met great ones. They seem to act and talk just like me. But then we got groups out there that hate America. We've got other ethnic groups that hate America from other countries from around the world, whether it's Europe, the Middle East, the Far East, whatever. I guess the only point to this is just think about it, right? Is it racist if you look at somebody and you don't accept them? Or are you responding to a stereotype, either appearance or behavior, that tells you you don't belong, you don't feel safe? Is it wrong to take action based on how you perceive another group of people? And it could be a mixed race group of people, right? Maybe you see a group of whites, Hispanics, and blacks all dressed in all black with little black masks covering their mouth and their nose, hiding their identities, they think. Is it okay to feel unsafe there if you're a conservative, real American? And I'll call myself that, and everyone just like me, because they hate America. They're not Americans. They're not real Americans. They're anti-Americans. Folks, what I want everyone to do, and I don't give a fuck what color you are, is understand stereotypes exist for a reason. They matter to us as individuals for a reason. And the lessons we learn from stereotypes, well, they're real. I have in times past, especially when I was younger, made the mistake of thinking that people were like me because they looked like me, and you get pummeled and beat up. It's not looks. And I've been around other people that I thought should have been like me or should have accepted me because, hey, aren't we all Americans here in the United States of America? The answer is no. You get to go home with a fucking bruise on your cheek and your jaw hurts because you learned a fucking lesson. Right? People that don't sound like me, they talk not just a little different, but they speak practically a foreign fucking language. Stereotypes. This goes a long way in, well, we use the term watch your six. Always watch out. Always watch out. Right? And I'll see people, folks, and I don't care what race they are or even what gender they are. I look for little telltale signs. Are those real Americans? Or is that a real American? Or is that person not like me and therefore now a threat and dangerous? Now, unlike Jen Psaki or any other fucking Democrat, there is a point to what I'm saying, not just making philosophical rumination and throwing it out into the ethos. The point is, and I'll tie this to another point I've made lately, is we live amongst our own enemies. And yes, I've got the clip right here, and I could play it, but I'm not going to. It's the part where Biden says we're the bad guys, and the people on TV say they're at war with us, and we're the enemy, and we're evil. 4, 5, or 6 out of 10 people around me, you, all of us, are not like us. They're Democrats. And they speak a different language, even though it sounds like English. And they have thoughts. And even though they're in America, they're not American. They don't respect free speech. They only respect their speech and their ideas. They don't respect your rights. They only respect their own rights. They don't respect life. They fucking hate life, and they want to see it exterminated. They don't respect our country, our borders, our laws, and Constitution. They want to destroy it all and replace it with socialism, which is their code word for we hate America and we actually want a totalitarian, authoritarian fucking dictator under a communist fucking idea and concept so we can steal everyone else's shit. In other words, tribalism is important to keep us safe, but understand and learn how to use stereotypes not to offend people or treat them badly, but to protect yourself. Once again, I have not been clubbed in the back of the head. I have not been attacked. I haven't been put down and made fun of. But I realize and accept that even in the great state of Florida, it is a dangerous, dangerous world. And you need to be aware, and you need to be awake, and you need to protect yourselves and others. Like I said, I just don't understand. Like I said, I don't understand this just blatant racism out there. Because I see great people of all races and even immigrants that are working here that have their green cards. They want to be Americans so bad that you can just hear it in their voice, right? Their love of America, our freedoms, the fact that they're here and they're getting a chance. I'm not anti-migration, folks. I'm anti-criminal. I'm anti-gangs, and I'm anti-communists, okay? All of those things. In other words, right? God bless America. Boomer checks in on this. How you doing, Mr. Boomer? Good to see you here on a Monday. He says the Immigration Act of 1965 under Lyndon Baines Johnson, President of the United States, another Democrat, is what changed the West forever. The Founding Fathers had set it up for Europeans only, not this. Okay, I have not read the Immigration Act. I do know there are other laws on the books, though, that we have had to protect our European heritage, our Anglo-Saxon common law virtues and foundation. But yeah, LBJ was a terrible president. He was a Democrat. And he started the war on poverty, which has cost Americans, trillions and trillions of dollars, and we still have more poor than ever. You know, the idea was to have people come to America and assimilate, be Americans, because they shared all of our values already. You see, that was the idea. You already share American values. You just come here to fit in. This concept of a melting pot, that term melting pot, is not American. It was given to America by a foreigner who wanted to give us some words to describe an idea. And like other words and ideas, right, they give us one word and then they substitute meanings at a later date. More on that later. Thank you, Mr. Boomer. I appreciate you giving us some history. I now get to go look up the Immigration Act of 1965. Other things that weren't allowed, communists in government. Another thing that wasn't allowed, Muslims in government. What have we gotten here? Well, number one, there is not a political test. Someone can say they're a Democrat and always vote and even present communist ideas in legislation, whether it's a city council, a state assembly, or maybe even the House of Representatives. So how do you know if someone's a communist? Well, you should be able to know by listening to the things they promote and want. That should be good enough to say, hey, you're a communist. Whoosh, you're no longer allowed to participate as a government representative. That was interesting. I am not doing that. Uman, are you doing that? You are. Very good. Okay. Am I not? Continue. Move on. Keep going. Is my speaker dead? Okay. Go ahead and send me a message via Signal, amigo. Okay, Bad Mood Writing says, good to see you all. It gives me hope for America when I listen to John and see the comments. Love you all from Ireland. You're going to have to hold on for just a second, folks. Okay, here we are. All right, man, I sent you a signal thing. Anyways, thank you, Bad Mood Rising. Let's see. Where do we move on to? And love you all from Ireland, which is a good thing. The Irish are amazing. Let's see. Oliver, you can hear me, correct? Can you send me a signal message for what you're trying to tell me so I can not sound like a complete moron? Okay. It's a strange thing, folks. What have we got? Okay. Let's do this. Here we go. Oh, very good. Very good. Okay. Thank you, man. Okay. So yeah, I covered Bad Moon Rising's America, and thank you very much. We have a lot of love for the Irish here in America. You guys are amazing. I'm wondering if you, Bad Moon Rising, want Conor McGregor to be elected president, or if you think of Ireland, or if you think he is just another distraction for the people to vote for, thinking they're going to get their country fixed, and it's just another figurehead that ends up being bought and owned by the powers that be. Anyways, here we go. Let's roll on. I did see something in the comments from Chin Music. If you don't mind, I'd like to address that. He says he got called an anti-Semite again by someone who couldn't even tell me what a Semite is, just for asking questions. See, this is, instead of me attacking this fucking obvious idiot because they couldn't even define what a Semite is, I'm starting to try and think that if someone were to call me a pejorative term, like anti-Semite or, I don't know, racist, I might ask them and see and look at this as an educational opportunity, right? To explain to them what a Semite is. At the same time, I think I've cautioned everyone against wasting their fucking time talking to people who are so ignorant they don't even understand the basic concepts and precepts of the language, much less something complicated like our Constitution, and certainly something historic and dare I say biblical about who Semite is. That would be the Semites are the offspring of Shem, son of Noah. In any event, can you do a DNA test for that? I don't know. I think what science or scientists have concluded is there is a certain people who are of, I guess, obvious Semitic origin, and they share a common DNA link. But if you don't have that link, does that make you less of a Semite? What if you've only got 0.5% Semite? And other people have 5, maybe 10% of Semitic heritage in DNA. Is someone with 0.5% allowed to speak? Oh man, what do you think? Thumbs up or thumbs down? If you only have 0.5% of Semite in you, can you claim to be Semite? He's giving me the thumb down. No way, man. You can't do that. Well, that cracks me up. But Elizabeth Warren, lying Huntus, who claimed to be Indian, she has less than 0.5% of Native American blood in her. But she's never apologized for that. What if I told you guys I was Semite? Well, I don't look like one. Or do I? How would anyone know? Oh, right. Here we go. This is a big story. This is a big deal to me. It has to do with American bravery and American patriotism. You may or may not agree with this. Stuart Rhodes. Does everyone remember that name? That's a dude with an eye patch. He has announced he is going to relaunch the organization known as the Oath Keepers. Does everyone remember the Oath Keepers? Yeah, before January 6th, they were considered patriots. They were considered brave because they would go out and stand for America. That organization consisted of veterans, active duty, police, and retired police, and probably just other Americans who wanted to be oath keepers. But if you take the oath, you keep the oath. But I'm going to say that, I'm very glad that the oath keepers are back. I never felt like they were un-American. I always felt like that was a very American group. You know what is funny, though, is I always felt they seemed kind of militant. That coming from me. But still, I think of them as patriots. But I think we also need Enrique back. You remember him, the leader of the Proud Boys? I think we need him back, and the organization as well. They were a little bit more knuckle dragger types. They would go out and confront Antifa physically and stomp the shit out of them. I know that as of late, the last few months, American bikers or biker gangs have been confronting these anti-American types out here. And it's funny, anytime anyone from any group stands up and tells un-American types, back down, get the fuck out of here, be peaceful, etc., it's a proud day for America. That we do have so much more in common. The same way I've quoted and looked at and watched and listened to more and more Black Americans take to social media and explain why they're American and why they love America and what it means to be an American, and excoriate people, whether black or white or any other color, for not being American. I think what this is doing is it's creating for us as Americans right now, at a time when we need it most, a core, or maybe even you could say a heart, through which all of America can express itself. I kind of like the old Grinch. When he realized what Christmas was about, his heart grew 3 times in size. I know that's a Christmas thing, and Christmas is coming. But I think the more Americanism that Americans see, the more they can accept it, whether it is accepting, well, the Oath Keepers or the Proud Boys or other truly American groups that aren't racist or white supremacist, but rather they're pro-America, and that American ethnicity shines through. That group can include bikers, and biker gangs, or groups, if you will, include veterans that have biker gangs. It's just a way, it's a way to be and join a group of like-minded individuals and sharing camaraderie, kind of like we do here, by discussing and learning and taking ideas away and bringing ideas here. It's to be American is a very unique thing, very unique. And it's an exceptional way to think. And we borrow a lot of that from our heritage, if you will. And since we've had an Irish constituent of the channel come on earlier, we take a lot from our Irish forefathers, our Scottish forefathers, our German forefathers who came here. Well, they could have come here 100 years ago or 150 years ago. Or like my family, 300 years ago, my family's been here. But there was a spirit in those early immigrants who came here legally, mind you. And they brought with them the fighting spirit and a rebellious spirit. And the spirit of rebellion in America and Americanism, in American tribalism, is not rebellious for the sake of being a rebel. It wasn't rebellious for the sake of wanting to get in a fight and kill people or go to war with them. It was a common cause of justice and equality and freedom, because the Scots and the Irish were so picked on by the British. When it came time to fight, guess who was at the front of the fucking line? Right now, the German people that came here, they had a similar attitude. While being German and more industrious, they also did not like what was going on in Germany, and that's why they left. And again, came here to America legally. You couldn't just leave Europe and show up in America. Right? My family had to sign a contract with William Penn. Right? You had to have reason to come here. I guess if you wanted and you had enough money, you could buy passage to America. And well, once you show up, what the fuck? Right? You look around, you don't know anybody. You don't have a deal with anybody. You don't have a business with anybody. How could you just immigrate here? Well, today our illegals show up and well, they don't look to Americans to fit in. They look to the government, and the government says, don't do anything. We'll just give you money and shit. Totally a different situation. In any event, let's have some fun. Let's move on. Let's go to the inner circle. See what you guys want to talk about. Ooh. It's funny. We've got 176 people here live. It's a good number. Welcome, everyone, to the Prepared Mind channel. Mr. Uman, I'll see what you want to talk about or what's out there. And it is Matt D. And he writes this. Okay, well, I don't buy the weekend test vote, as they called it. So they could turn around and play more games on Wednesday vote, couldn't they? Oh, yes, you bet. In fact, I think I know what you're referring to. I really do. Basically, they've said the shutdown is over. And the political left in Washington, D.C. is having a meltdown, folks, because 8 Senate Democrats have given in. They've caved in. They've decided they're going to vote to end the government shutdown. So they kind of took a test vote. So what happens next? Is the shutdown just automatically over? Or, well, do the Republicans with these 8 Democrats have to have some form of legislation, and then it goes to Trump. Trump reads it, signs it, and, well, then I'm pretty sure that's it. Then it's over. Then the shutdown is over. But, yeah, they've taken a test vote. And in case you didn't know, that means absolutely jack shit, especially when it comes to the Democrats, because now we know that there's 8 of them out there. And if you think, well, the pressure isn't going to be on from the Democrat leadership, you're crazy. At the same time, they need someone in the Democrat Party to be, well, the bad guy so that the government can be reopened. And the other Democrats like Schumer, lying sack of New York shit he is, Schumer and others can complain and bitch and piss and moan about the Republicans bullying them and holding the country hostage. All of which, of course, has done them absolutely no fucking good. Psh, anywhere. No good anywhere. All right, folks. We are live on YouTube, and we're live on the preparedmind.club, and we're live on X, and we're live on subscribestar.com. Essentially, people are here, and it's live. Normally, this is a premium show, Monday through Friday in the evening live. Sunday's the one that we do live for everyone. That's the zoo. But I want everyone to realize that, yeah, you can show up here live every day by becoming a premium member on the preparedmind.club. Like you, our bills are going up. Our electric is going up. The cost of scotch is going up. The cost of Spam and tuna fish is going up. And the cost to stay live on the internet is going up. Everything's going up. I guess we're going to have to call that inflation. Not that I want to blow my own horn, but we told you that precious metals and uranium are now on the critical minerals list. Well, never mind the uranium, but silver and gold are going up tremendously today. There are some big changes. Gold is a monetary metal, and silver is a strategic, critical, industrial, and military metal. So for years, we've been saying, look, if you can save your wealth by not putting it in a bank, certainly don't put all of your spare money in Wall Street, but rather put it into gold and silver to shield it from inflation. And today, silver alone has gone up, well, the percentage, 4.7% in one day, and gold is up almost 3% in one day. So for those of you that have invested and saved wisely, it is every bit as important ultimately as prepping with food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and that stuff. Because at some point, I think we could get a rug pull and the whole world could change. Uman said silver is almost up 5% to $50.46 currently. Gold is up to $41.22. Now, there's one other thing in this, and I know Uman is aware of it because he tracks all of these things. I think primarily to make sure I'm not full of shit and he can correct me. Anyways, what I did is I looked at the price of silver. Uman is showing you right there $50.46. Well, I went over to SD Bullion, which is our preferred silver company, even though I get nothing for saying that. They don't pay us any damn money. But if you were to buy one silver coin, it's going to be $59.78. Kind of interesting, is it not? But, that's if, you do that. If you buy it with a credit card, it's $61.65. In other words, almost $10. That's almost 20% in premium. And gold, my friends, I got a surprise for you here. So Uman was saying gold's up. Okay. The gold price on the market is $41.24. Let's just call it $4,125. You go to buy a gold coin, it is not $4,125. It is $4,469. That's almost a $350 premium. It's a huge premium on top of the price. In other words, there's a shortage. And the more of a shortage there is on available stock, the higher the premium will be on top of the spot price. There's a problem out there, folks. We're in not just an information war, not just a psychological war, not just a political war, not just an educational war, or even really an economic war. We're in a war for resources. And you may or may not realize it, but we've been in that war for a long time. We've been in that war for a long time. The resource war. China has for years been doing all it can to acquire resources and make deals with countries around the world, and the United States of America has let it slip. Our manufacturing went overseas, and all of these things contribute to the SHTF environment we're in. Please get prepared. All right, Uman, let's do some more topics. Enough of my, blowhard stuff. Offering my opinions. We got Melody Dawn checking in. Says, hey, long time no see, guys. Hope all is well. I had lost my mother of sudden stage 4 cancer in the middle of May 2025. I am really sorry to hear that, Melody. It's my condolences. It's hard to lose loved ones. She continues with, Ben still under the weather. She was the best patriot. Glad to catch you guys live. Okay, Melody. Well, we're back on our old Prepared Mind channel, which has nearly 80,000 subscribers. But we're also at the other Prepared Mind channel. There's 2 of them now, Melody. And that one has 4,900 subscribers and many other ways to watch us besides. We're on X, Twitter. We're on thepreparedmind.club, our own website. We're also at subscribestar.com. And do not lose us. Subscribe to everything you can everywhere. You can watch one or the other because the broadcast goes out everywhere. But be somewhere other than just one. That way, if I disappear again, Uman disappears, we all disappear, you can go find us elsewhere. We were hacked by, a complete fucking scumbag on X. And Jolene was able to win it back and tell X, get us back on, and it's now ours again, which is why we're broadcasting on X. It was incredible. In any event, here we are. Thank you, Melody. And again, condolences on that loss. And keep your chin up. Your chin's down. You can't see what's coming. Get your chin up. Keep fighting the good fight. Make your mother proud. Thank you. Mr. Uman, who do we have next? Do we have some more good things to talk about? And Uman says, yes. He says, you can also find where going by going to, yes, theresyndicate.com. That is Uman's website. It is marvelous. It has all things prepping, not just Prepared Mind. Channels that tell you how to, well, get ready at your house, at your ranch, in the country, in the city. There's people that prep with food, people that do weapons, people that do survival, people that do community work. Everything is there for the entire prepping spectrum. Not just me, which is fine. I want everyone to learn everything they can and find good people that, well, they feel comfortable with, kind of like the whole American ethnicity, the American tribe, the American belief system. I only talk to people and hang out with people I feel comfortable with. So if you feel comfortable with other people, I don't care, as long as you are checking in, educating, helping others, and waking people up and getting them to realize what it means to be American. American, which is opposite of this. Listen to this shit. More anti-white racism came out. The culprit, our good friends at Coca-Cola, who I have boycotted. Well, Coca-Cola, folks, according to a lawsuit, has allegedly rejected a very experienced job applicant. They told him no. They saw his application. Well, he applied again under a fake ethnic name. And guess what? He got an interview. So the man named David, with 20 years experience, applies with Coca-Cola and is denied even an interview. Well, the same David reapplies as a guy named Deshaun, who only has 5 years experience. And guess what? He got an interview and a bonus. You know what the bonus is? He is now going to win big in a discrimination lawsuit against Coca-Cola. Maybe Coca-Cola, instead of telling us to be less white, maybe they should be less fucking liberal and communist. Anyways, folks, the anti-Americanism is out there. It needs to be, well, defeated. Defeated not with guns and bullets, but by being good Americans and not rewarding them financially, but rather rewarding other people around us that are good people. All right, let's have some more fun with it. Well, holy cow, we got just about 10 minutes left in the show. It always flies when we're having fun. Diving Frog checks in and says, John, this digital ID crap is going to be a nightmare for this country. You know, we covered it a bit. Darcy T brought that up on the zoo last night. Or was it someone else? I think it was Darcy T, yeah. In any event, down here in the great state of Florida, CBDC, digital currency, is, well, it's been outlawed. It's been rejected even before it was offered, because it is a way for private corporations, private banks, to control a person's wealth and their ability to buy and sell, and that they can be punished and controlled, rewarded, or destroyed. It is not good. It is a fucking nightmare. And it's already being used in China for just the very things and fears that we have. We want to reject it because in China, guess what? Otherwise good, hardworking Chinese people, they say something wrong and, well, criticize the government, or it appears they're criticizing it, or criticizing the wrong person, or criticizing the wrong company, and they are debanked. They are shut down. Their account, their central bank digital currency or digital ID is locked out, and they become what? Homeless. Homeless. They're destroyed. They lose their family, their home, their cars, their job. That's what it's all about, folks, is control. That's what they want, is control. Well, I don't plan on handing my control over, but they do have a digital map already laid out, do they not? Hell, I get a tax return. IRS just puts money in my bank account. I'm like, I don't like that at all. Because the government, it giveth and the government can take it away. So if I get 2 nickels to rub together, or more accurately, I get $50 in my pocket, I'm going to buy an ounce of silver. Why not? Anyways, this nightmare is becoming, well, real for people, and not in a good way. They're going to continue to push it. This genius act that the bankers came up with and said, hey, Trump, what do you think of this? And he's like, I'm a genius. Oh, let's make that a law. Well, Trump also did what? Whether you like Trump or hate Trump, you can at least admit the facts. He brought out Operation Warp Speed. I remember when he sat up there as the president, meeting outside on the lawn, doing press conferences with big pharmaceutical companies. It looked more like fucking Billy Mays selling cleaner, or that other fat guy selling gutter sealant, right? Selling us on all this bullshit having to do with COVID and the tests and then the fucking vaccines. It was some crazy shit, right? I don't want a fucking salesman as the president. And I certainly don't want what companies are pushing being pushed through the White House at us, like a digital currency, or what do they call them? Stable coins. I say leave everything in the private sector, keep the fucking government out of it. Because if there's one thing the government does and does better than anyone else, it is fuck everything up. Fuck everything up. That's what they're good at. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Okay. Dr. 762 checks in. And he says, John, can you tell us, what do these corporations gain by hiring in a discriminatory fashion? Of course, it's DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. Also, environmental, social governance. But don't think of it about what the corporation gains, because typically corporations lose. They lose good employees. They lose productivity. But the people that are working from within the corporations, they get to, well, feel good about themselves. The hiring or HR department, human resources, right? They get to hire who they like. And you need to fit a certain look, if you will, or a certain sounding voice. And so they create, through their hiring practices, company personnel and a company pyramid. Pretty soon you get to a point where, well, your supervisors sound like they're from India. And so they only promote people who sound and look like them. And they start taking over the hiring chain and the promotions chain. And pretty soon you have a company that doesn't sound American. And the reason I brought up India was because of the H-1B rules and the apparent and often complained and lamented practice by the Indians that come over here, get hired by a corporation. They make sure they hire all of their own people. And it protects them, does it not? And then they turn around and they protect each other. And pretty soon the whole company's run by people who don't really understand the company, don't give a shit, nor do they care about America and Americans. And that has been the complaint largely this year. Of course, the corporations do it by by offering lower salaries as well. Now, Uman says the corporation gains investment from large capital funds. Very sharp and perceptive of you, Mr. Uman. Let's continue. He says those that don't get blacklisted from these funds and their stocks suffer. In other words, companies like big giant investment funds, the largest in the world, the one run by Larry Fink, BlackRock, and then there's Vanguard, and there's other large investment funds that say you will hire a percentage of this minority, that minority. We want to see minorities being hired, and we want to see your books, and we want to audit you. And if you don't follow our hiring practices, which are in their nature both discriminatory and anti-American, but if you don't hire the way they say, they will take all of your stocks and their portfolios in these multi-trillion-dollar corporations, and they will just fucking sell them for nothing. You're fucking out. Your stocks plummet. Now, you and I, as American consumers and belonging to the American tribe, we don't like it when we get shit on by Budweiser or Coca-Cola or Dick's Sporting Goods, right? I'll just use those three. We boycott them. We boycott them, and we stop buying their Coke, their beer, their fucking shoes, whatever they sell, right? Dick's was sporting goods. And their stocks plummet because, well, people that own those stocks and boycott them, they sell their stocks. Also, we quit shopping in their stores. Their sales go down. The boycott works. They couldn't give Budweiser away when that fruitcake Mulvaney, or whatever the fuck his name was pretending to be a little girl and drinking Budweiser while talking to children. Fucking lunatics, right? Yeah, so that's what they do. And we can independently boycott a company or a country even. As much as I love Ukrainian people, there's a percentage of them that are absolute shit. So if I see anything that says buy, Slava Ukraine or made in Ukraine, I'm not going to buy it because I will not support that regime, which is run by Zelensky, who, by the way, has had his Azov battalion getting promotions, and then his most loyal followers have been terrorizing churches. In particular, one church, they were filmed going in with their guns and destroying the church and being complete fucking assholes. Right? I'm not going to support a regime that does that to churches or newspapers and journalism or private citizens. In fact, who was the dumb bitch? Oh, yeah, Angelina Jolie. She took herself and flew her dumb ass to Ukraine, and she had, I guess, a bodyguard who was a Ukrainian guy. And the recruiters for the Ukraine military, guess what they did? They saw this fucking guy, kidnapped him, and said, "You're going in the military." They wanted to put him instantly in the military and put him up front in the meat grinder. The Russian killing machine. Oh, yeah. It's unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable. This is our country. This is America. And anytime someone does something wrong, I think we should think like Americans, act like Americans, look out for one another, support one another, and also we can change the direction of this country by rejecting those that reject America. It is America first and foremost, and always America first. And if you fuck up, well, number one, the fuck up will be self-evident in the crimes that get committed, but we should punish them for it by withdrawing our money, our support, etc. And I'll give you an example of this, and it's also a prepared mind prediction. In Pennsylvania, folks, a town there has elected its very first transgender mayor. Yep, Pennsylvania's first transgender mayor has been elected. Well, the prepared mind prediction, that town is going to see corruption, sexual assaults, and probably even pedophilia coming out of either the mayor or the mayor's staff, and certainly the government around them. I'm expecting corruption, sexual misconduct, and even they'll be exposed as pedophiles. I think it's a rampant problem. It's already shown itself to be true as far as I'm concerned. But maybe that's just my stereotyping of these people, right? Well, wasn't it New Hampshire just the other day had their first state representative arrested? And guess what that freak did today? Pled guilty to being a fucking pedophile. Oh, but transgenders, they're just like everyone else. No, they're not. No, they're not. There's a mental illness there. And there's a lot of mental illness, folks. So get prepared, if you will, because chance favors the prepared mind. We're here every day live for you, folks. Sign up at thepreparedmind.club, subscribestar.com, and be sure to, subscribe on X as well. That way you can find us at all times everywhere. God bless. Tomorrow is Veterans Day. I will be sleeping in No Zero Dark, but I will be back tomorrow night. I'll be back tomorrow night for another broadcast with you guys to talk about what is happening in America. Semper Fi.